Hey you guys, this is Rafael from Relics.com. Hope you guys have had a good day. It's been a long one here, but it's been a really good one. You guys have made a difference in my life. You have helped the sales, you have, and you've given me a lot of encouragement. And that means a lot. And I can't return the favor enough because I appreciate you guys taking time to watch these. I know I say that every time, but I mean it every time. I appreciate you guys sharing these. Wow, we had a rush of new subscribers on YouTube. I'm very thankful for that. And I hadn't forgot you. When we get to 1,000, I'm going to give away an original Civil War cavalry saber in the scabbard. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but it's in the scabbard. It's dated. It's a cool sword. It's one I wouldn't mind keeping myself. If I hit the lottery in the meantime, I'm going to shut off these videos and I'm going to keep that sword because I like it. I wouldn't have bought it if I hadn't, and I don't want you to have something that I wouldn't keep myself. Today we're going to talk about something that was requested. And I try to answer all of the questions, but I just can't. It's just me in the office. I had a guy the other day said, "You sign your emails owner/janitor," and that's because I am the owner and the janitor. I sweep the floors, I write the stuff up, I do all that myself. So a lot of you guys, I think the world of everybody, and I want to help and I want to answer your questions, but when you send me a dissertation letter, I just can't respond to all of them, and I'm so sorry, but this is what I do to feed my family. So I apologize for all of my shortcomings, including not getting back with you on emails if you're just looking for information. I'm sorry. If you have a question about something I'm selling, I will always be glad to try to answer that question and help you facilitate something new in your collection. Today we're going to talk about a piece that can be in your collection because it's one that everybody that collects Civil War pieces will find interesting, even if it's not what you collect. Even if you collect guns, you'll see something cool about this one by the time we're done. Again, this is a smaller piece, so I'm going to use a lot of pictures up here because it's good to illustrate them, and I like for you to be able to see that detail. And that's one thing about these videos. I want to help educate you on the things to look for, so hopefully you'll buy it from Shiloh Relics, but if you don't, I don't want you to spend your money and get that money taken away from you anywhere else. A lot of good people out there, a lot of people that you can trust, but there's a lot of them you can't. Today we're going to talk about a buckle that is very cool. It's a two-piece Virginia State Seal sword buckle. And they show up in a lot of variations because before the war, Virginia had a pile of money. They had little rich boys running around all over everywhere. And a lot of them had their own Virginia State Seal belt buckle because they were very proud of being from Virginia. Because you got to remember, George Washington, the father of our country, was a Virginian. There were tons of people. Thomas Jefferson, Virginian. A very proud state. If you talk to those guys today, they're still proud of it. And so we're going to look at this. The Virginia State Seal is really cool. It has the scene of Virtus standing over the King of England, and you could see defeated. And they defeated the King of England, and so it's a realistic state seal. And atop of the buckle, it has Virginia, and around the bottom it has Sic Semper Tyrannis. And where have you heard that? A lot of people remember that phrase because when John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln, worst day in the South's history because it made everything hard for a war that was over. Moron should have stayed at home. I don't care if you're related to him or not. He shot Lincoln. He jumps off of the balcony onto the stage, breaks his leg, probably said a cuss word or two. But once he stood up, it's reported by some people that he said Sic Semper Tyrannis. Now, what does that mean? It's a Latin phrase. And we had a lot of good teachers in Lawrence County High School in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, but they didn't teach us Latin there. But it means, Sic Semper Tyrannis means thus unto tyrants. And he thought he was doing something that would help somebody, I guess. But they use that on a state seal. They use it on the buttons. They use it on the buckles. They use it on the currency from Virginia, because it's a cool seal, and they were proud of Virginians, proud to be Virginians. That's the reason that Robert E. Lee fought with the Confederacy instead of the Union Army, which he was offered command of, because he said, I can't go against my home state of Virginia. Wasn't anything else. He didn't want to leave his home state of Virginia. So we have the center disc, which is this, with the state seal. It's made out of stamped brass. They would take the brass, stamp it out, just a thin sheet, and what they do, they would solder it onto the bar that had the loop on it. And so it's actually two pieces joined together, which is pretty and probably easier to make. But once that piece, all that's holding it on place is two little bits of solder, and that pops off, and so they get lost really easily. So you see sometimes these will have the disc and the belt loop separated. And that's what's happened with this one at one time. It got separated from the wreath portion. And the wreath on these is really cool too, because it's so big. And most of them are smaller. These are one particular style. There's two variations of them. One of them has the large oak leaf pattern on the wreath, like this one, which is figure 418 in Steve Mullinax's book on Confederate belt buckles, the expanded edition. Steve did a great job on these, and he mentions in there how these only show up with Virginia tongues, and they use the same die in the center stripe for both of them. So a little bit difference in the wreath. They have a big number stamped in them, and when they left the factory, they would have matched. This one has different numbers, but it fits perfectly because they were well crafted and were interchangeable. How did these work? What they did, they were designed for sword belts. So you open them up, and it's called a tongue and wreath because it seats inside there, turns to the side, and locks up. This was so you could take your sword belt. It had a leather belt around it that would have had hangers, and it held your sword. You could take this on and off easily because you didn't want to walk around all the time in camp with your sword on. No need to. So it made it quick and easy to get that sword on and off. But they're sword belt buckles for Virginia, and they're made right before the war is what we believe, because there was a lot of things that were made up north and moved down. Mullinax mentions how he thinks these were probably made by a small shop or possibly imported for Virginia. We don't know for sure, but they show up in Virginia campsites, and they're pretty. This one actually came from an award-winning collection. My buddy Don Phillips, that set up his Confederate buckle display for years. This was part of his and helped him win Best of Show in all of the big shows. He won Best of Show because of buckles like this. This one can be yours. It's on the website. I've got a couple of other variations of these, but it's a great piece. I hope that you go on there and look around. Hello to all my friends in Virginia and everywhere else. I've had some messages sent from Germany and from England and a lot of places where people have been watching the videos, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful every day that I get to do what I do. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for you guys, and always be kind. I have had several random acts of kindness thrown my way here lately, and if that doesn't make you feel better, something's wrong with you. And I'm thankful for each one of you. I hope that you have a great day. I hope that when you get that opportunity, that you take that opportunity to be kind. And remember, I love you. I'll catch you next time.